If you're a new director or a new VP at a $100 million to $700 million company, let me tell you a hard truth. What got you here into this higher position won't keep you there, won't grab the respect of your people, it won't help you make good decisions, and it won't help you get to the next level. So pay attention here while we talk about the 7 biggest mistakes that I see most of these new directors and new VPs make. First of all, you have to understand, you were promoted because you solved problems. And maybe I sort of don't agree with this in different industries, but like a lead developer will all of a sudden be a manager of developers. Well, he's not really a good manager. Or a great sales guy gets promoted above a territory. Well, he's not really a great leader, or he's not really a great VP. There's a lot more to it than that. Your job is not to be the smartest person in the room. When you start to shepherd people that work for you, when you start to lead people, your job is to buffer them from outside influences, show them the direction that you're going. That's literally leadership. That's knowing where you're going and walking that direction so that people follow you, and then protect them as they go along, knocking off those objectives. You have to know that if your rep makes $1 million, you're benefiting as the leader of the VP. So I'm going to talk about the 7 biggest mistakes that these VPs and directors make. This comes from lots of experience in both the military and the corporate world. I find myself at this point in my career coaching up. So even VPs that I'm helping out from a board slide capacity, I turn them around and end up doing career coaching with them. I find this all the time when someone goes from director to VP. There's a lot of lessons they have to learn. I find this with new managers. They feel very insecure about the new position. It's out of scope of this video, but like if you've ever heard a bookstore manager or like a Starbucks manager trying to direct their team around something, you just hear some common ego-centric, insecure ways of going about things, and it flounders flat on its face when there's millions of dollars at stake, like in a real operation. So mistake number 1, lots of these VPs come in and they feel like they need to personally solve every problem. And again, this is misunderstanding the value add that you have as a new VP. I recently had a painful experience with a new VP, so I'm going to kind of pick on him, even though I think he's a great guy. I don't want you guys to think that this is the only isolated event, but he heard something from the CFO, and he was just going to charge out there and fix it. And so he wrangled a bunch of us directors together, and he was trying to solve a problem that essentially didn't actually exist, because lo and behold, when you're C-suite, you don't know everything that's happening on the field. So anyway, I had to have a lot of, I was trying to gently pull him back. We'll call him Jimmy, to just say, Jimmy, why don't you spend some time figuring out what the actual problem is? But because he was so focused on like swinging the hammer, everything was a nail. You know what I mean? The misunderstanding here is that VPs think that their value is tied to how much they can fix themselves. They forget that they have teams now, and that boards and C-suite expect them to lean on other teams. The reality is, at this level, your job is to frame the problem in a way that your talented people that work underneath you can understand, so they can go about fixing it themselves. You want to, like Jim Collins says, you want to get the right people on the bus in the right seats so that the bus just magically goes in the right direction, right? So the solution here, really, the solution I've got on the one pager is to shift into clarity and orchestration mindset. But honestly, if you step back into what I call sort of the holy pause, if you just spend time listening to these directors that work underneath you, or if you're a director of these managers, if you spend time listening to their real pain points, you'll find some things that you might not have realized. And honestly, this is like discovery if you're in the BA world and the business analyst world. So spend time in discovery and don't go directly into fix-it mode. And man, you could do a whole marriage video on this one, actually. All right, number 2. This is kind of a big mistake, because even though I coach VPs to understand that you already have positional authority because the board made you a VP or the CEO made you a VP, that still doesn't mean that your team knows what success looks like. So you as the leader, you have to define for them what that success looks like. And this is critical for me because I've had worldwide operations and still run a worldwide operation today. But I have to tell those guys in the other regions, because they can't get a hold of me when it's noon their time. I have to tell them in the other regions what our core values are. I have a slide deck I've used between multiple companies. I didn't prepare that perfectly yet, but if you want that slide deck, I'm happy to share it. But it's got the core values that I hold myself to. So professionalism, support professionalism, and okay, I'm embarrassed that I didn't remember it. So this is an old one. I just took over a revenue a sales operations department. And I realized, I didn't explain it. I said, hey, I'm here to help sellers get deals done as swiftly and smoothly as possible. I'll put a screenshot of this one in the video. And then our core values were support, diligence. We're going to be good at what we do, and professionalism. I need you to dress certain ways. I need you to act a certain way. We're going to help our team get done. So support, we're supportive, we're positive, we're useful. We're here to enable and facilitate the decisions made by business with capital B. Diligence, we manage our responsibilities effectively. We consistently deliver on our commitments. Professionalism, we align ourselves with the company values and the business priorities. We accept accountability. It's a big one for me. Like if we do something wrong, I want to know about it and I want us to fix it. And then we are committed to the success of our stakeholders. And this, I have told this now, I've been using this slide deck for 9-something years. I've told team members, I know that this seems cliche, and I know that every manager has a vision statement and core values if they're worth their own salt. I said, but I mean this. And why it matters is because, especially in other regions, if you can tell me, Jimmy and Amia, why you did a certain thing, even though it went wrong, if you could say, Chad, this is how I felt like it fit within support and diligence, professionalism. This is why I felt like it fit within the swim lanes and the process we have. I've got your back. And this did happen. We had something go wrong with a data leak. And I remember the CRO came into my office because the word had gotten out around the company. And I was like, look, man, if you're thinking about firing Jess, and I've told this story before, I always change your name. So don't think I'm lying about this. But if you're thinking about firing Jess, you're going to have to fire me first. And I meant it. And he knew I meant it. And he looked at me, he's like, Chad, you're not getting off that easy. But my point is, they don't know what success looks like until you tell them what success looks like, right? So number 3, my role is about managing up and hitting the numbers. Okay, yes and no. So new VPs try to focus on delivering results for the CEO, the CFO, and this is great. I understand this, but again, this goes back to the story I had with the new VP where he was gung-ho, man. It was his first time in front of a board. I remember he rushed off to like change his shirt and he got all flustered because he didn't think that things went well. But anyway, you can't just rush off and be like, oh, I'm going to impress the CEO or please the CEO or the CFO in this story. You have to, it's more than that. Yes, I am aligned with the company vision. And yes, in this $100 million quota that I have this year, I'm going to do everything I can to get that done for that team. But I am team first. I feel like I need to clarify that. There is no team without mission. Does that make sense? Okay, so we are mission first, but the mission never happens without the team. So it's kind of a paradox. So I am team first, aligned with that mission, leading them toward that mission. Okay, number 4. This one irks me, but VPs will say, if I make the right decision, then the results will just happen. This is almost, I could bucket this into the campaign of like the meeting culture where people think if I had a guy from EMEA, from our EMEA team do this. He put 10 people on a meeting, some weird agenda, everyone talked for 40 minutes. And then like at the end of it, you're just kind of, I'll see if I can get the meme with John Travolta. It's like, did it get done? Did it not get done? No. So again, the easy part for leaders making the decision, which sounds counterintuitive. I worked with a lot of leaders that can't make decisions. But the hard part is then seeing it through, is going back through these first 3 steps. Did they understand where we're going? Do they understand what the core values are? Do they understand what success looks like? And now am I using one-on-ones or direct meetings or some sort of tracking mechanism to make sure that it gets done? So it takes more than just making the decision. You then have to work through the plan of executing it. And executing really is the $1 million skill set out there. All right, 5. I'm guilty of this one. The mistake here is VPs think I can lead my department the way I ran my last team. Everybody's different. Every mission is different. Now, that being said, when you have a team that you've worked with for a while, yeah, well, that defies this. When I have a team I know very well, I kind of can say less and just do some things like little grunt language and we get it done. I see this a lot with my military unit. We've worked together for a long time. We can sort of grunt. Things are going to go a certain way. But on the VP side, especially when I'm consulting new companies, this is a saying of mine when I'm sitting down with the CEO or CFO. I say, hey, I'm always nervous about like smashing the that was easy button. I think that's a disservice to everyone out there. Everybody's got like this 500-page manual and it's like, here's the 500-page manual. What's the problem? You have to spend time to really understand the problem because it's not always what the CEO thinks it is. And then you have to spend time to understand who can fix it. And then you have to spend time to understand how you can enable them best as a leader. So really, if you could take from this point, shift your mindset as a leader to think about how do I best enable my team and then you'll be in a much better position to succeed and excel. Does that make sense? Okay. Number 6, I need to move fast to prove myself. This goes back to our new VP who tried to brute force some problem that wasn't even a problem. I do want to deliver fast, but you never want to move fast on the decision. And again, this is a paradox. In the shooting world, in the military, we say slow is smooth and smooth is fast. So there's value in being fast, but you scrambling or looking busy isn't impressing me. Or even I have a CFO who I love. I think she's amazing, but she'll say something like, I work till 10 p.m. on a Saturday. I'm like, dang, not impressing me. You know, it's like, so doing a bunch of stuff doesn't necessarily get you there. You need to take the time to really fully understand it and then make hard decisions. Again, there's this old story about a guy looking for his keys. He's in a parking lot and he's under a street lamp in the parking lot, and someone else is like, "Hey, let me help you." And they're calling around there. He's like, "Man, I don't see anything. Are you sure you lost the keys here?" He's like, "No, I lost the keys way over that way, but there's no lamps over there." So, like there's this tendency to just circle around the things where we can see and where we can pull levers, and you end up churning really good talent because you're wasting everyone's time. Does that make sense? So finally, department problems are just operational. I, God bless a CEO, but every once in a while they'll say, "Oh, like form follows function," or they'll just have some cliche or platitude. I would put this into platitude issues. You really have to treat every problem like a process, or the misunderstanding here is treating every problem like a process or resource issue. Sometimes, a lot of times, especially at this 100 million to 600 million, you're looking at people and alignment. So you're already kind of baked in with the systems that you can have and the people that you have. If you spend more time on the people, and again, that would be the kind of the general theme of this video. If you could spend more time on the people, just like the Jim Collins quote, you find that magically some of these problems start resolving themselves. So I hate it when like a meeting, the output is another process doc, or the output is like a revision of a process doc. Really spend time with the people and see if you understand the problem. The main point of encouragement, though, a lot of these issues happen because new leaders are insecure about their position. And some people call this imposter syndrome. To me, it's really just about not having fully rested into the weight of your authority. And I spent a lot of time with the VP I technically worked for, but he had just been promoted to VP. And as he would prep his board slides, I'd have to tell him, like, "Hey, man, you are the VP of sales for a reason. They put you in the position. You're already there. Rest with that. Sit there. You are a subject matter expert. You've been doing this for 20 years. You don't have to prove to them you're the VP. All you have to do is pause, listen to the question, answer the question. Lean on the wisdom and experience you've already got, and then trust that the position of you is already there. You never have to prove that." And then on the flip side, I had a manager. She was having a difficult time with one of her direct reports. And I sat in on one of their sort of more tense conversations, and she would constantly get against the ropes and like explain her actions. So the coaching moment there was telling her, "Listen, Jess, you are the manager. You have the full backing of me all the way up to the CEO. There's nothing you can do to explain more the fact that you're the manager. You just need to sit, holy pause, take in the moment, assess the situation, and then tell this guy what needs to get done." Does that make sense? If you like this video, I want you to hit like and subscribe. If you want to do a leadership reset with me, comment down in the video or go to my website, click the work with Chad and fill out the form, and we can check with you and we can sync up on email and see if it's fit with that. I'll see you in the next one.